I did want to talk about the role of the sound man in the church or the audio engineer. The first thing to think about is the fact that you're there as a servant. It's so important that you understand that role that you play, in that you are the guy that's behind the scenes making a lot of it happen for those who are on the platform. So they're the ones who really kind of have their reputations, and they're being vulnerable and exposed on the platform in front of the congregation or the audience. And you're the guy that's kind of in the back helping them accomplish that. So sometimes we as just human nature, I think we kind of make ourselves the center of the show, and it's all about us. But really, as the audio engineer, we're there to provide support, give them what they need, the tools they need to communicate from the platform. So they're going to be preaching, they're going to be singing, they're going to be playing their instruments, leading worship, and we're going to be making sure that everything they do on the platform translates to the congregation. And so we don't get all the accolades or the recognition that the people on the platform get, but boy, like Don was just saying, they really do rely on us. And that's right.
You rarely get the accolades. You only the sound men only get input from the congregation when something's wrong. Sadly, nobody ever walks out and says, "Boy, this." Well, they do in our concerts. They'll walk out. Yeah. This is the best sound that I've ever heard. And I hear this a lot with Chuck on the road. But usually that's a hot seat in any church. Mm-hmm. And more times than you care to think about, probably, people have come to you and said, "Turn the drums down." Yeah. And it's not always Chuck's fault, because we're in a building that's it's so live, and we talk about this in our rhythm section DVD, and especially in the live band, the general session we did. We talk a lot about. Tim talks about using brushes and different techniques. So make sure you get a hold of those DVDs as well. But yeah. So
well, when you say that, if I'm sitting at the board and I see somebody walking towards me with like something to say, I know, okay, here it comes. Yeah. We were in one church once, and they actually have a gumball machine at the sound booth that's full of earplugs. People can put in a quarter and buy a set of earplugs. So you know that they've got problems, because that's the way that they do it. The other thing that you want to be as a sound person is dependable. If you're not thinking ahead, if you're not planning ahead and preparing everything in advance, and you're kind of there showing up when the band and everybody else is showing up, there's a sense of panic that happens there if you're not well prepared ahead of time. And you want to be that guy that people can rely on, and they know, okay, Chuck's going to be there, or so-and-so's going to be there, and I know that everything's going to be okay, because they're going to take care of all of the details. So the sound person is always, in my opinion, should be the first one there and the last one to leave at any event, any service or concert that you're doing, to make sure that things are prepared. And so if you're dependable, you're a servant, you're dependable, you're trustworthy, they're going to really rely on you and feel good about it. Self-starting is very important as well, because if you think about it, if you're the main audio guy in your church or girl in your church, there's nobody around in your sphere who really knows or understands what you do the way that you do. So nobody's going to say, "Hey, you really ought to think about soldering this cord or something." You need to figure that out yourself, and anticipate problems, anticipate things that can be coming up, and really be self-starting and take the initiative and do those things in advance. And again, that's because you're dependable and you've taken care of everything. Nobody might even notice that you've done all those things. They just know that everything's going smoothly now, and I'm okay with that. The other thing that I like to ask whenever I'm in a setting, when I'm teaching engineers, I'll ask them this question: "Are you a musician?" And usually about a third of the room, most of the guys are usually, "Yeah, I'm a bass player, but I figured I can't make any money at it, so I'm a sound man too." But a lot of times there are people there that say, "No, I'm not a musician." And I would posit this theory that, oh, yes, you are. a musician, because if you're mixing sound for a band while they're playing music, you're interpreting the music. You have to think musically. You have to think artistically. You have to make decisions that are going to help that music translate in the most effective, emotional, clear way. And so, yes, you are a musician. They used to call George Martin, the producer of the Beatles, they used to call him the fifth Beatle. And so I think that, you really do need to think of yourself as a musician.